Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. The brothers got next. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Kwab. What's going on, man? Happy holidays.
Man? Happy holidays to you. I like that hat. I'm going to get to see it in person in a couple days.
Yeah, man. Just trying to get festive for the the holidays and coming into the new year. Man, I can't believe we as the year closes, I can't believe I'm trying to think how many shows we've done visually now.
I don't know.
Are we at 10 yet? I don't think we're at 10 yet.
Right there.
Yeah, we're close. We're close to 10. Yeah, man. But man, it's been a great year. Obviously, starting this new journey with the visuals and being on a YouTube channel and everything.
Speaking of YouTube channel, just always a reminder: click that subscribe button. We have a lot of people watching our shorts. If you want more bangers, you just got to click subscribe.
There you go. Yeah, man. It's been awesome. It's been great. Yeah, man. Just this whole new experience of being on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about reading comments from people, like our shorts, the views, getting a lot more, just getting more exposure out there in all social media platforms.
Yep.
So now it's been great. It's been great. But yeah, man. So let's get right into it. I know this is one of your favorite QBs. Well, not really your favorite QB, but I know you always compare him to the QB of my team. Kirk Cousins, the Atlanta Falcons, was benched earlier this week in favor of the rookie Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's certain things that we don't really have to talk about. Obviously Cousins has been struggling. They're fighting for a playoff spot, actually even just to win their division, because probably only one team's going to come out of there. They drafted Michael Penix Jr. for a reason. We kind of talked about it in the preseason, and as the season started, that eventually we knew he was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
But just give me your thoughts on: do you think at this time was this the right move? We obviously knew he was going to eventually take over the reins. Do you agree with the move now, or do you think they should have kind of waited till the end of the season and kind of said, "All right, you're going to be our guy going into next season"?
At first, I wasn't too sure about it, because it's like, well, you have a veteran quarterback. He's going through a slump. Let him work his way out of it. But the question is, like, how long am I supposed to wait to let him get out of it, right? Because he hasn't just been struggling. It's not like, over the last 7 games, he has, the same amount of touchdowns as he does picks. I mean, bro, it's like 1 touchdown to like 8 interceptions over the last 6 games. So it's a really bad trend. Now they're coming off a win against the Raiders where, he once again struggled. He did throw a touchdown pass, I believe, but they still didn't look very sharp against arguably the worst team in the NFL. So it's an interesting move, right? Because they're still trying to fight to win the division. The Bucs have been hot. They've won 4 in a row. So you're now bringing in a rookie who obviously was a first-round pick, who's probably the future. You didn't want him to play this season, especially since you just gave Cousins this big deal. Mm-hmm. But maybe he creates a spark, right? Maybe he gives them that kick that they need offensively, because we've always said about the Falcons, me and you, since we've known each other, we always question their defense. And even now they have one of the worst pass rushes in the league. But offensively, there's talent there. There's, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, who I'm starting to question how great he is, because like every year he seems to underachieve a bit. But maybe this could create a spark, man. I'm okay with the move. Obviously, we'll see how it goes this weekend. If he just, takes good care of the football, utilize, your tight end, utilize Bijan Robinson, don't force anything, I think that's going to equal good results for them. And obviously, if he plays well, this is going to be his job heading into the season. They're going to have to figure out what to do with Cousins. So the timing of it wasn't great, but you know what? Sometimes you just need that extra kick. And, I think Kirk Cousins is a pro, man. People can say whatever they want about him as a quarterback, and I understand the differences of opinions there. But he's a pro, man. He's going to support Michael Penix. He's going to be there. He's going to be, supporting him throughout this whole process. So I'm okay with the move.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with anything you kind of said. I wanted to kind of say something different, but I can't really disagree with anything you said. I was like you. I questioned the timing of it. At first, I was like, well, right, like you just said, why would you pull him now, with 3 games left in the season? Let's see. I'm a big believer if, you're starting quarterback, you have, they're going to go through slumps. There's different parts of the season where they're really maybe good at first. In the middle of the season, they're like, You may have a point where they're not playing so well. Then they get back to the point like, they're playing great again. or they're playing at least back to par, right? And Kirk Cousins, like you said, he's a veteran, so I thought they would give him at least some time to kind of get out of it. And plus, you gave this man $100 million, so it's like, well, there's also financial things involved in it. Like I said, we kind of knew Michael Penix when they drafted him. He eventually was going to be the guy. There was no misconceptions. There was no like hiding it. I think all as football fans knew, okay, eventually he's going to be the guy. Kirk Cousins is 36 years old, coming off a real serious injury. Yeah, he was there pretty much there as the bridge quarterback to kind of, Michael Penix, he can learn from, right? But then I was like you. Then I was like, you're right. How long should they wait? If he keeps playing bad, you're going to cost yourself a playoff spot and maybe the chance to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this can also flip, though. So, I guess I do have something different to say from you. But this can also flip, though, because what if Michael Penix goes in there and he sinks up the joint? And we're like, oh, the kid's not ready. You know what I mean? He's really not ready. So it can go both ways. I mean, the good thing is, I guess you have the safe out that you can go back to Kirk Cousins. I feel so weird about when teams do that, though, because you bench them and then it's like, okay, you're gonna go back to them because you're kind of playing with their confidence. You know what I mean? And then it's like, is he still the guy going forward next year? I mean, that's it's just a hard. Don't get me wrong, it's a hard spot for the Falcons and Raheem Morris to be in. I don't wish this on any team to be put in this position, but it can go well where Penix goes in there, he lights it up, or he does better than Cousins does, but he can also be awful, Yeah. And we've seen it like last year with Malik Willis. Remember when they faced with him? He was awful. And it was like, you have a problem here because you drafted this guy. So it can go either way, man. So, I mean, I get what you're saying that, look, maybe they should have, I mean, you're like how long you should wait, but this can also backfire. And then it's like, what do you do now? Because Kirk Cousins is not the long-term answer. We know that. And Michael Penix is supposed to be the future. So it's like, okay, do we have to go draft another quarterback? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's tough, bro. Like I said, I wouldn't wish this spot on anybody. It's a tough situation to be in. But, listen, the NFL, sports, all that, it's about taking risks. You got to, what's that saying go? You can't knock it till you try it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of risk reward. It's kind of trial and error. You know what I mean? It can pay off. It can fail. I mean, yeah. So we just got to kind of wait and see. I mean, if I personally have to think about it, I mean, I've only seen him in college. I mean, he looked good in college, obviously. And from everything I've heard, like reports of how he looked in practice and in the preseason, he looked good. So I don't get the feeling he's going to. First of all, they're playing the Giants too. So he may have a little bit of a cushion there because it's like you're playing probably the worst team in the NFL.
Nice start.
Exactly. There you go. So he may have a little where it's like, yeah, he may look great. It's like, well, he did play against the Giants. But yeah, so it may end up working in his favor because of who they play as well. But I would say, again, if he stinks up the joint against probably the worst team in the NFL, it's not a good look because it's like, okay, he's not ready. You know what I mean? And then you have to start questioning, will he ever be ready?
Yeah, see, I'm going to slightly disagree with you on that. I think if Penix doesn't play well the rest of the year, I don't think that changes anything going in the next year because it's only going to be a 3-game sample size, right? Like, It's hard to ask a rookie to look great in a 3-game stretch. So what's going to happen is if let's say hypothetically he doesn't look great, he's got the whole offseason. He knows he's going in as the starter. So you approach training camp differently, right? You're running with the ones. You're not running with the backup squad. So he's going to get an opportunity, regardless of how he plays in these last 3 games, to be the guy starting next season. So I think it's kind of a win-win for Penix. Get your reps in now. You're going to be the guy next year. They're not going to give up on a first-round pick after 3 games. And, of course, on the flip side, if he plays really well, I mean, you're excited as a Falcons fan, right? You got Michael Penix, you got your dude potentially, hopefully for the next 15 to 12 to 15 years. Right. So, yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm definitely going to be checking out that game. And like you said, you have the Giants. Like I think they're the worst team in the league. So,
but before we transition, but one thing I will want to bring up, and I know you've always said this. I know you're big on the eye test, though, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're going to be watching to see, like, you can tell if he's ready or if he can be that guy. So what I guess why I'm going to disagree with your point that you just made is that even though it's a short sample size, we can kind of see if that person's going to be good or not. Like even when that 3 game, I sometimes can look at him like, yeah, he's doesn't, because 3 games to me, that's enough where I can see like, okay, you've had 3 games to kind of look like, all right, like I should see some improvement. Now I'm not saying even if he plays kind of bad in the Giants, I get it, right? If this is his first start, we give him a little reprieve, even though it's the Giants. Sure. Yeah. But if you don't start to see like improvement, like from week to week, like if he does the same thing against, I don't know who they play after that, but let's say by week,
look at it while you're making your point.
Right, by week 18, he's still looking like how he looked against the Giants. Then I might start saying like, I don't know if he's that dude. I don't know.
They have the Commanders and the Panthers to end the season.
And those are all defenses he should ball against because they're all not great defense. I like the Commanders. We talked about the Commanders all year. They're a good team offensively. They're not that good defensively. So he should even still ball out on them. He should definitely ball out on the Panthers. They're not. First of all, you saw what Cooper Rush did this past week. The backup.
Cooper Rush is a solid backup. Like I don't.
No, I understand that, but he is still a backup. Like right. Put up 30 on them. Remember the last couple we were like, the Panthers, they starting to look a lot better. They look competitive.
They got worked.
They got worked, exactly. So
and Rush still has the experience. Like he's been a backup for a while. Like
that's true. I give you that. I give you that.
I don't think putting Penix in now and he doesn't play great. To me, even yes, I understand the eye test, but for me, the eye test still comes over a stretch of over a period, right? Like, like I want to use Josh Allen, for example. Remember his first year? People were like, this dude doesn't look very good. Like he's very raw. He turns over the ball a lot. He had more interceptions than touchdowns his first season.
Right.
Now, he may be an anomaly because he's, like I said, he's probably going to win
MVP. Yeah. I think certain people are anomaly. Obviously, Peyton Manning had the same rookie year. But those there's certain people that are anomalies. But I can kind of tell from even though Josh Allen played bad, and I agree with you that first season, I still saw some things. I'm like, yeah, he can be good. Like if they give him the right QB coach, good coaching, the right players around, I said he can still be good. Same thing with Manning. Like first of all, even when Manning had that first bad season, we all knew Manning was going to be a generational talent. We were like, I wasn't worried about it. I'm like, yeah, he's still going to be really good, and he ended up being really good. So there's certain guys you just know, like, yeah, I'm not really worried about the rookie year. That's fine. Like they're still going to be really good.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Yeah. But let's transition in as we're talking about the Falcons. Ex-Falcon, Micheal Vick, who was
transition
king of the 2000s when it came to Madden.
Oh, I used to hate. Remember, we used to play Madden a lot in college. Like I remember you had that little TV in your room.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
The TV was tiny.
It was. But you're right. Playing Madden when you had Vic or against Vic was like a cheat code.
So annoying.
It was so annoying. Yeah, I know. I remember we used to come and watch people play, and I used to watch you play. I know. Yeah, we all get frustrated. Like, dog.
Oh, that was the worst.
It was like, how did they make this guy so good in the game?
Because you know what they're gonna do. They're just gonna run the ball,
and you couldn't do anything about it. You couldn't stop it.
He might be the greatest Madden player of all time.
No, without question. Yeah, no, without question. But anyway, the big news this week, he's taking the head coaching job at Norfolk State. Actually going back to his stomping ground. He's from the Virginia area. I think he grew up in Newport News, which is like right there. So I'm happy for him, man. Like just, I know, before you get into your point, just the redemption story we heard, going from, he was at the peak and heights of, the most electrifying player probably in the NFL in the early 2000s. Then, obviously, of course, he had the dog fighting thing happen, going to jail, and just him coming back and then having that kind of rebirth, that comeback. It was just a great story. And since then, he's been, pretty like, he's totally a different person than he was back in those early 2000s. Just his whole demeanor, how he is. I'm a big Vic fan, like, just of him, of everything he's gone through and just from being as a player to now. I'm real happy for him. And I'm always happy for a guy to go back and kind of give back to your hometown. You know what I mean? I guess the question I have for you is that you're starting to see a lot of former star NFL players take these not big jobs right away, but maybe do an HBCU or a smaller school. Like you see Eddie George at Tennessee State.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, right. Deion Sanders started at Jackson State. Now, of course, with Colorado, you see what he's done. Do you think you'll start to see more of a trend of this happening, of guys taking the start, and I'm talking about star NFL players, taking jobs that, to start to say, okay, I'll do HBCU. I may do like a D2 school or something and then jump into the college ranks.
Yeah, I actually love that idea. And before I answer that, just to circle back about what everything that Vic has been through, yeah, I agree, because if you look at the Michael Vick and with the Falcons compared to the one with the Eagles, there was a certain level of maturity
Yes.
over those
Yes.
years, and he's admitted that himself, right? Like he was more of a study. You know, he studied the game a lot better. He was a lot more disciplined. You know,
Right.
obviously going to prison can do that to a person, but
Hmm.
like, yeah, man, you know, it's weird to say this, but it's almost like it's one of the best things that kind of happened to him. You know,
Hmm.
obviously, like just meaning like he grew so much, and he was like a totally different person. And I bet you that if Michael Vick had the same approach after, you know, before prison that he did afterwards, we'd be talking about him. Maybe his legacy would be a lot different. Maybe, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's awesome to see just how he's changed since those days. And yeah, I think it's a great thing what's happening, like you said, with Dion going to Jackson State, and kind of building up that program, being able to get
Right.
a lot of people to come over there, which
Right.
is
Right.
cool, right? Like obviously he had Travis Hunter there, like you know, and what's going to happen with Vic is who isn't going to want to go play for Mike Vick?
Right. Right. Exactly. So it's definitely help recruiting. Yeah.
Yeah, so the recruiting, that's going to go up to another level. There's going to be a lot more attention there, and if they can win a lot of games early on, that's only going to give him his next opportunity. You know,
Right.
maybe at a program that not necessarily like a big SEC school or anything like that, but like a mid-level kind of college team as his next program, and then it's only going to go up after that. So
Right.
who knows, man? We could be talking about Mike Vick as an NFL coach in the next 7, 8 years. You just never know. So yeah, man, I love it, especially going back to an HBCU programs that don't really have a lot of funding. They don't get a lot of media attention. They're not on TV a lot. I think it's awesome, man. Going there, building up that program, getting people to commit. You know I would love to play for Mike. You know, if I would want my son.
Right. 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 Right.
So yeah, I think we're going to continue to see that happen. And I love that. Like I said, I love that route. You know, you don't always have to start off at a. You know, he's never been an assistant coach. He was only an advisor for the Falcons, I believe. He's
Right.
never
Right.
coached
Right.
before, but hey, this could be your chance to just hit the ground running. So I love it.
Yeah, and like I want to piggyback off the I forgot to bring up the recruiting part of it. Right,
Mm-hmm.
who's not going to want to play for him? You know what I mean? He's going to help attract
Yeah.
talent in there. And I don't know if he'll get the top players, but he may get those like second tier,
Yeah.
third tier good players to at least make it a competitive program and a decent program where we're at least looking at it like, oh, look what Norfolk State's doing over there. Look what
Mm-hmm.
Michael Vick's doing, and I love that. From a QB standpoint, he's a former QB. Remember, he got to see both parts of the field, where defense, offense, so he can coach both sides. I think with no problem. Because I think, don't get me wrong, and Dion has been great. Eddie George, who's a former running back, has been great as well. But when
Mm-hmm.
you have a QB, they really know from an offensive and defensive standpoint what works and what doesn't because they've seen everything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, like you said, just the name Mike Vick is going to help bring in, like you said, bring in recruiting, talent. And like you said, I love the route too, man, because, obviously both of us didn't go to a HBCU, but just to give those schools attention that don't really get it, you know what I mean? And there's talent in those schools. I mean, we have Hall of Fame players in the NFL that have come out of HBCUs. The Jerry Rices, the T.O.s, the Shannon Sharps, the Michael Strahans.
Even somebody that he's not a Hall of Famer, but like a Steve McNair.
Right, Steve McNair, right. I mean, who's considered like, from what I understand, he's considered like the greatest HBCU like player of all time.
This
A lot of
is
people
the
say.
NFL MVP, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people say he's the greatest of all time. I'm just talking about when he was at Alcorn State.
Yeah,
A lot of people say he was the greatest ever. So,
Mhm.
yeah, man, it's always good to see, those kind of schools get, the recognition and the eyes on them. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure ESPNU will have some of the games. So I'm gonna be watching next year to
Yeah,
see
me
what
too.
he does. So
And once again, I talked about the media attention.
right,
Well, they're going to air one of those games on like ESPN or something. Like they're
right.
gonna
They did with Dion, right?
yeah, they've
Right.
probably never been on ESPN. Let's be real.
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah, but they're going to start to get that attention, and like me and you were going to watch, so people are going to want to see what's going on there, especially if they start they're winning.
right,
The
right.
more they win, the more they're going to be visible. So I'm excited about
And
that.
apparently, the word is that he's going to be surrounded with a lot of veteran college coaches. Like they're
I
going
like
to put
that.
college coaches around him.
Like that.
Because obviously he's, like you said, it's his first head coaching job ever, like at any coaching job
Mhm.
on any level. So
Yeah.
they're supposedly going to put guys around him that kind of will help him and obviously guide him through. Hey, this is what it's about. So I love that part because I think the school said that they're gonna make sure they put hire people around that know the college football game and can also kind of teach him as even though he's the head coach, still kind of teach him how the college game is. So
yeah, we may see some of his former teammates, some Falcons guys on that coaching staff. So that'd be cool.
You get your boy D'Angelo Hall as a CB coach.
He was all right though. I feel like you were a little hard on him sometimes. He was a good quarterback.
He had that one season where remember he had one game he had like 5 picks and he was a Pro Bowler. I'm like,
Cutler.
Yeah, and I hate to pour salt on the wound, but the thing that he's most known for is I don't know if you ever watched Hard Knocks.
Oh boy,
with DeAndre Hopkins is him. That's one of the greatest Hard Knocks scenes I've ever seen. Yeah, so he's not known for being but. No, I mean it'd be cool if he was the CB coach. I would have no problem with it. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, and he's a cool brother too. I've met him before.
That's right. You said you've met him before, so no doubt.
Cool cat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to the nitty gritty of this. Right this is really what this episode's about. Yep, he has the shirt on. me and Kwab have been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? We said we want to do a show. We back probably I don't know if it was a year ago, 2 years ago. We did. Best of R&B in the 90s and
blew up.
Got a lot of feedback. We had a lot of our friends and people that we even didn't know were weighing in on it who had the better list.
Ladies that were commenting on the post as well.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And this is really that's what I'm saying. We want to get a lot of the ladies, input. Not to say we don't want the fellas input on this, but we definitely want more of the ladies input of, how our list is and why you think whose is better. But
will be mine, but yeah.
Without further ado, we're gonna get it started. So, Kwab, first, okay, before we start, because we talked about this before, give us your honorable mentions first before you start.
I don't know. I may have missed when you said this, but you did mention we're giving our top 5 2000s R&B albums.
Yes, just the top 5, right? And you, as far as the honorable mentions, it doesn't have to be 5. You can be 3. 2, whatever. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, first give your honorable mentions, and then you can go into your top 5.
So just to be clear, this is not what we think are the best ones. It's what our favorites are.
Right, correct. And that's right. I'm sorry. I should have said that right. This is really our favorites, not what we think is the best. You guys will just choose which list is better. Like, are you feeling Kwab's list more? Or are you feeling mine's more?
I'm a winner, baby. I got
it. So like I said, let's start. We're going to start with your honorable mentions. So what are your honorable mentions of the best 2000 R&B albums?
All right, so I got a couple here. And it's cool because a lot of 2000s R&B albums, one, a couple of them you put me on, and two, a lot of them just bring back so many nostalgic moments. Some
right.
When I was in high school, some was when we were at UNLV. So one that stands out to me, my senior year of high school, was 8701 by Usher.
Oh, great one. That's a great one.
Up there. I remember back when I had my Discman, that used to be heavy rotation of the Discman.
Yeah, that came out going into my senior year, I think, right? Our senior year going in? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was an honorable mention for me. This other honorable mention is actually a put on by you in college, Floetic, their debut album.
So we're gonna because I was gonna but I can keep going.
That was an honorable mention for me. I mean, I feel like they should have been like bigger. I know they're not American, so they may be bigger.
Right.
I don't know if they're British. I don't want to mix that up, but
yes, they are. No, they both are. Yeah, they both are. Yeah.
I feel like they're probably way bigger out there because I feel like Floetic is the only album I remember being like big here. But man, that's a great album, great production.
Yes, I agree.
Fan of Floetic. That was one of your put-ons. Get Lifted by John Legend, 2004.
That's a great one.
Some of Kanye's best production. The song "Get Lifted" is one of my favorite R&B songs of that decade. Definitely check that out if you haven't. I got a couple more honorable mentions. "Diary of Alicia Keys," her second album, phenomenal. Love the song with Tony. "In My Own Words" by Neo. I was a big Neo guy in college. Like that was my guy. Shout out to my boy Andre, who always points out that Neo does this like thing with his hand.
The hand thing, yeah. The hand thing,
and he's a fan of fedora hats like I am. So, "In My Own Words" by Neo, and then those are my honorable mentions, man. Of course I'm gonna get to my top 5, but I'll let you get in your honorable mentions as well.
Yeah, so my honorable mentions, Yeah, this may be something that you probably have in your top 5, but I'm going to say So my first honorable mention is Erykah Badu's "Mama's Gun."
Mm-hmm. Great album.
Yeah, that was a good album. Obviously, it wasn't as good as her first one to me, but it was one,
that's a classic.
Oh yeah, first one's a classic, but the second one was pretty good.
That made my top 5 '90s R&B list.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So, it was a good album. Yeah, just wasn't as good as her first one, but Erykah Badu's been one of my favorite artists, so I like that. Another honorable mention was Beyonce's B-Day, which I still think is her best album to me. Mm-hmm. I know, don't come after me, Beehive. I know you'll probably say some other ones, but that's fine.
That's show you love for having a Beyonce album on it.
Yeah. So B-Day is definitely honorable. That's to me and my favorite Beyonce album is B-Day. Mm-hmm. So Beyonce by B-Day. My third one is Songs in A Minor. Alicia Keys, her first one. Yeah, that was definitely a great album. Probably her best album, and a lot of people consider that a classic.
It's up there. Yeah,
it's up there for sure. The next one that you already mentioned, Floetry, it's an honorable mention.
Dope album.
Yeah, that's another one. And then after that, I was torn between like 2. So the Get Lifted by John Legend, I forgot about that. That's a great album.
Man. Dope album. UNLV, man. That was bumping that hard.
Yeah. Now, one other one you might get on me about, because I remember you weren't big on it, but I liked it.
What you got?
Brandy Full Moon. I don't care what you said. Yes, I love Brandy Full Moon. I love that album. I loved it.
I think for me, I liked her previous album so much better. So Full Moon was definitely, and remind me the name of her second album after her debut. So obviously,
is it A Boy's Mind?
No, that was Monica's album.
Oh, Monica was.
I can look it up too. But I think so. Brandy's first title was self-titled, her first album, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It was her second one that was great. Oh man, what was it called? It was called. I'll look it up.
Brandy's actually has a couple sleeper albums because she had another album after Full Moon. Remember when she had the joint with Kanye on it?
I wasn't really feeling it. Aphrodisiac.
See, I like that. I like that album. I think people slept on that. She's had some slept on albums. Like
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never. Yeah,
that album was great.
That came out like in the late '90s, though, right?
98.
Okay,
that's probably my favorite Brandy album. Is Never Say Never.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Those are some great honorable mentions. I don't know if you have any more. That was great.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The first Maxwell came out in late '90s, right? Or was it 2000?
His first album came out in the 90s, actually.
Oh, that was like late 90s. Urban Sweets, right? That came out late.
I think that was 99.
Oh, right before. Okay.
Yeah, I think so, but that's a good question.
Because that was a great album, obviously. Because I was thinking about it.
I had that on my 90s R&B list as well.
You did. Okay.
Urban Sweet, that was 96.
96, yeah.
Also, I thought another honorable mention, and I'm glad you brought that up, was Now by him. That had This Woman's Work on it.
Right.
2001. Yeah. Album too.
So I mean, 2000 era, I don't know if it was just as good as the 90s, because I hold the 90s in high regards. To me, that's my favorite era when it comes to R&B, rap. But the 2000s, especially the early 2000s, mid-2000s, was right there to me with it. You know what I mean? As far as albums.
I think over the years, I've grown to appreciate the 2000s music more, especially since my wife kind of reminded me, like, yo, there were a lot of cuts. And you know what? I always knew that, but like watching a lot of videos and her reminding me about certain tracks, and I mean, obviously that's when we met. So a lot of our memories together is around 2000s music.
It is, but when I see her this week, I'm gonna have a conversation. It's not better than the 90s. I know she was really young.
She didn't say that. No, I'm not saying she said that. She just said she reminded me of how good it was.
Oh yeah, no. I don't think anybody disagrees
on it. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with that. No, I just don't I don't hold it in the same regard as the 90s. That's all.
No.
Yeah.
Me or her don't either. I'm just saying, like, she just reminded me, like, man, I kind of been sleeping on the 2000s. There's a lot of cuts.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't dispute about that. Mm-hmm. All right, now your top 5.
So I don't know if I'm going to rank them. I'll rank them just for the sake of it. But actually, my number 5 is actually one that was on your honorable mention, B-Day by Beyonce.
Okay.
Album, top to bottom, high energy. I loved Irreplaceable. I love the fact that Neo wrote that song.
Right.
Get Me Bodied is another great song. It's just a very complete album. One of those albums where you don't really have to skip any songs from top to bottom. Love it. That's my number 5. You want to alternate, or you want me to just go? I don't mind if we alternate 5, 5, 4, 4. You want to do that?
Yeah, so I didn't really rank them, but I guess I can rank them. This
Okay.
is hard. This is hard to
You
rank.
don't have to. Just give me your one, and we'll just go back and forth.
Okay, so my one, I guess the one I would put at number 5 is Voodoo by D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my 5th. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually that's on my list as well. But
Okay.
It's higher than 5.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about it? Anything do you like it better than Brown Sugar?
I do not, but it was still a great album. It's really his last like album because he had that one with the Vanguard that was more.
That was a great album though.
Yeah, well, it was a really good album. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying, but that was his last like solo, just him. And that's crazy. That came out in 2000. That was over 20 years ago.
Long time.
But no, I mean, I don't have to get into it. I'm sure the ladies can even tell you. I mean, how does it feel? I mean, the video.
Great song. Besides,
right. The video, for the ladies is, I didn't say nothing about that. Yeah, I mean, the song Voodoo was dope. I just like all the songs, and that's at that time in my life, I was really into neo soul. Like when I was in high school,
that was the peak of that.
Yeah. That's when because I was into neo soul probably from like high school, like my 10th grade into college. To when we met. You know what I mean? I was all about neo soul. Is
neo soul like not a thing now? Like I guess it's not called that anymore.
Yeah, because it's not really a lot of like those artists are not really. I mean, not to say they're not relevant, but they're older. There's not a lot of people doing neo soul now.
I guess the movement was kind of like a late 90s to mid 2000s thing.
Correct, because remember they were called Soul Aquarians. Remember it was like Erykah Badu, D'Angelo, Common, Mos, Talib, The Roots. They were that Soul Aquarian era.
Even I think of like Bilal when I think
Bilal. They were all part of that. Yeah, that Soul Aquarian era. Indie Irie. Yeah, so I don't think it's a thing anymore. I just don't think you don't see. Especially no new artists are doing that. You know what I mean? It's only those ones we mentioned may have like, here and there do a song, do a feature, but you're not really seeing them do albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'll let you go ahead with your 4th.
So, yeah, like I said, I do have that one on my list, but I have it a little higher than you.
Okay.
This next one, I'm pretty certain is going to be on yours. Oh, actually, I think this artist is going to be on yours, but I have a different album than you. So I do have a Music Soul Child album on here. It was hard to go between I Just Want to Sing, which is his debut, and Just Listen. I actually slightly prefer Just Listen, his second album.
Okay.
So that's my number 4. I think Newness, which is, I believe, the album starts off great. I mean,
Newness, yeah.
He had a song, Previous Cats, which I always used to say, every woman needs to listen to Previous Cats before they get into a relationship. Great song, one of the most influential songs for me. But yeah, Just Listen by Music is my number 4 spot.
Okay. So my number 4 spot is Aaliyah. Her unfortunately was her last album in 2001. R.I.P. to Baby Girl. I was such a big fan. People that know me close, especially when I was in high school, I loved Aaliyah. Shout out to our boy Alan. Alan may have even been a bigger fan of Aaliyah than I was.
Yeah, you were a big Aaliyah guy.
I was a big Aaliyah guy, yeah, because, I've always said, and I know this may be controversial and people say, like, I don't know, but I've always said that I feel like if Aaliyah would have lived, we would have seen her on the Beyonce kind of, lane, plateau. I think she would have taken off that way. That's just my opinion, though. You know what I mean?
I don't think she was the vocalist, Aaliyah. I mean, I'm sorry, Beyonce is, but I think success-wise, she could have been. I mean, she was big.
Yeah, but I think she was just a better performer, dancer. I agree with you on the voice, but Beyonce
could definitely dance. But yeah, as far as dancing overall, yeah, I mean, Aaliyah was great. I mean, that's why a lot of people say like Sierra. A lot of Sierra's influences from Aaliyah's.
Oh yeah, she said it herself. Aaliyah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
She's a phenomenal dancer.
Oh yeah. Sierra said it herself, like she was influenced by Aaliyah. So yeah. So I mean, as far as songs, Rock the Boat, I Gave It All to You.
More Than a Woman's a great song.
More Than a Woman, yeah.
That's a good album.
And it's emotional sometimes talking about that album because I remember, the day she passed and like that whole day and just like being in kind of disbelief. And
going into our senior year.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember like people, when I got to got to school that year, everybody was bumping her album. You know what I mean? Like it was like, men, women, it didn't matter. Like everybody, it was just like, yeah. So I even think of that year, and I know it happened like kind of later in the year when she passed. I think it was in August, but that has to be one of the biggest albums of that year, just because of I remember everybody just how they were listening to it and just having it on repeat. Yeah, I mean I played it probably for like a straight month without playing anything else. So for me, is definitely, and it might be her best album. And it's crazy to say that because, you know, One in a Million was so good.
That's an interesting take. Because
it might be, bro. Because
I One in a Million, but.
Right. And I'm sure, and then even the first one, AJ Nothing But a Number is great. But, it might, because I guess listening to so much and having it on repeat, it was like, damn, it just made it even more like tragic and sad. Like, damn, I can't believe she's gone. And like I said, what could have been, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's definitely my number 4.
Man, that's a crazy time too, because I remember a few weeks later was 9/11. So like, there's so many things going on. And
right.
Dang, man, I'm just trying to graduate high school.
Right, exactly.
Much.
exactly, right.
Okay, so I won't take too much on my number 3 because it was Voodoo. We already talked about Voodoo.
Okay.
Number 3, yeah. I as far as comparing Voodoo to Brown Sugar, I probably still prefer Brown Sugar, which was also on my my 90s list as well. But Voodoo has a lot of songs that I'm just, man, like. He has a song called Africa. It's actually the last song, and just the production value on this album, man. Devil's Pie, Send It On is a great song.
Devil's Pie reminds me of Belly.
My only thing with D'Angelo, and maybe it's just me. I've heard I think Jamel Hill actually mentioned this too. Sometimes I'll be having trouble like understanding what he's saying because it's like hard to hear him. But he's great. Love.
Yeah, he be doing that. He be like, oh, like he be trying to say things, but it's like that's what it sounds like. I'm like, was that a word?
yeah, but that's my number 3 album.
Okay, yeah.
We're getting to the nitty gritty now, boy.
I know. My number 3 album, you mentioned this guy. I think he was your number 5. Music Soul Child. I Just Want to Sing.
Okay, so you like I Just Want to Sing a little better than Just Listen.
Yeah, definitely, because it's nostalgia for me because that was around the time when I was like really, not to say I was never into girls, but I was really like, you know, I was on everything. I was definitely like. It inspired me to really like get, you know, I was out here, bro. Like, you know, and of course I was in high school, but you know, I was on that high school love and trying to get all the high school girls. Especially I had just moved to Maryland from New York, you know, with my mom. So, you know, I was new and I'm seeing all these new girls and I'm like, damn, like, yeah, and I'm listening to the album like I gotta get on some stuff.
Yeah, so, my wedding, me and my wife's first dance at our wedding was Settle for My Love, which was on that album. That's a great song. Obviously, a remake. The original's great too.
Of course, yeah.
That's a good album, man. I was struggling to know which one to roll with, but Just Listen had a slight advantage.
So I know it was a single, but that single, you know, I ain't trying to press.
Was that his first single? Like his first?
I think it was. I think that was his first single off the album. Yeah. So that song just reminds me of like high school because I was telling that to a lot of girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
did it work?
You got to be my
Were you pulling?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I wasn't UNLV pulling, but I did okay. You know, I did okay for myself. You know,
and the ladies wasn't really showing me that much love in high school. I had a high school girlfriend.
That's right.
But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if any of the high school girls are gonna be watching this episode. But yeah, man, y'all weren't really showing me love, but it's all good, man.
Why are you showing? I show my boy love, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is a good dude right here.
Maybe they'll have some things to say about it. So.
You know what I'm saying? Over 20 years here. Come on now, y'all dropping the ball.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But,
I'm gonna tell how famous and you're falling off. And they used to say they were never on.
Girls be like, yeah, I'm mad at Kwab. I'm like, well. People used to say it to me in college, and the girls were like, I'm mad at him. I'm like, well, what did I do? And they never had an explanation. I never understood why they were mad at me.
Yeah, they used to also call you like supposedly a jokester.
Oh boy.
I was like, okay, like, yeah. All right, man. So now we're getting into the top 2. So
I'd be shocked if these aren't the same. We don't have the same top 2. I don't know the order. I'd be shocked if we don't have.
I think we should have the same one, but I know we're probably not.
I think we'll have arguments for both, though. But
okay, so what's your number 2?
So, all right, ready? Buckle in. My number 2, it almost was 1. It was this close. Is Confessions by Usher.
I knew it. I was like, you're going to say it.
I don't even need to, man.
Bro, that, to me, is the epitome of our college experience.
Oh, 100%.
Like, 100%. When I think of all the great times me and you have had in college, I think of that album and the clubbing nights.
Easily.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah. Was that also your number 2?
It was not, but
okay. I think I know where we're going.
Yeah.
All right, so what you got?
So my number 2 is Who is Jill Scott?
Okay.
Yeah, that was close to being my number one, just
Mm-hmm.
from a favorite standpoint, but I couldn't put it over, yeah, so first of all, I got to shout out again. He's getting a second shout out on the show. Shout out to my boy Alan. Alan was the one that put me on to Jill Scott. I didn't know who she was. I remember him calling me. We were on a call, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta listen to this new artist." And I'm like, "Well, who is she?" And it's called "Who Is Jill Scott?" I'm like, "Okay." And I remember he was saying, she does a lot of stuff with the Roots. She's from Philly. She has that music sound that she knew I liked. And bro, I remember the first time I put that CD in, bro. I can't even tell you the feeling I had. I was just like captivated. Like,
Great album, man.
Yeah. So just like the Aaliyah album, I probably had that on repeat for a good month. I was just like, bro, this album is from top to bottom. I don't skip any songs.
Top to bottom. It's a classic.
Long Walk, you know what I mean?
It's all-time great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to go over all the songs. I mean, you can listen to an album. You should not really skip any songs.
And it's so well produced, and like she shows
so much, I mean, dude,
so much love to the fellas.
I mean, I had never. So I think I'm glad you brought that up. I had never heard that at that time of a woman showing that much love to the fellas in the song. Man. I think that's why I fell in love with it. I'm like, damn, she really feeling it. You know what I mean? She really showing love to us. But
even a song like "Getting in the Way."
That's like "Getting in the Way." I mean,
that's my man.
Long Walk in the Park, like, man,
yeah, that's it. Even like when you go to the back end of the album, there's just gems all over it, man. Like,
bro,
Slowly Shirley is a great song.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, that's a classic to me. Like, if you have to, I mean, all the ones we're saying to me are our favorites, but if there was, I remember I always make you laugh. I said, there was a 5 mic album for R&B, that's definitely a 5 micer. Like, that's just, it's a classic. It's a classic. Like, I still listen to it to this day. I don't have my CD anymore, but on my phone, yeah, man, I can still go listen to the whole album. Matter of fact, I think when me and the wifey drive to New York, I'm gonna put that on and listen to it. Yeah, it's a great album.
And it's been so hard, right? Because she's had other good albums. It's been so hard to live up to that one.
Oh, she's never been able to duplicate it.
I think it was called Beautiful Human or Beautifully. I'm forgetting the name of her sophomore album, but they were good. They were good. It's just so hard to live up.
No, she can never duplicate that. Never.
It's hard.
She was never able to duplicate that. I thought she would at least get close to it, but you're right. She had good albums. Not, they weren't bad. She had good albums after that.
So Words and Sounds Volume 2, Beautifully Human was Volume 2. Had some really dope songs.
Oh, really good songs. You're right.
The fact is, I Need You, whatever. Of course, I have Golden on there, but it's just hard to live up to that first, man.
It is, bro. Yeah. Like I said, that album just brings back so many feelings too. Again, just nostalgia of just, that album came out when I was in high school. So, it reminds me a lot of my friendship. I mentioned Alan and my boy Brandon on here a lot. Like that reminds me of my high school when I moved here and I didn't really know anybody. So they kind of like introduced me to a lot of people. It was around that time where I was still kind of getting to know people here in the DMV area, meeting new people. And then just hearing that album was like, yo, this is crazy. This album is so dope. And Alan put me onto a lot of music. So when it's funny, when you thank me or you come on here, you thank me for putting you on stuff, a lot of it has to do with Alan. And obviously him being in the music field, being a producer, he put me onto a lot of gems. So I would have never heard of her if he never said anything about her. You know what I mean? I would have probably never listened. So, I mean, till this day, she's probably my favorite R&B artist. You know what I mean? I'm not saying she's the best. I'm not saying, the greatest vocalist or anything, but she's probably my favorite till this day. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
we just talked about my number one album for the last 5 minutes is that. So
it's that. Wow. Okay.
That's my favorite 2000s R&B album. I think it's a must listen for everybody. In fact, that just made me think I need to get that on vinyl. That needs to be in my collection.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree.
No, that's a flawless album. I think it's one of the best ever. And I don't think I'm alone with that sentiment. I think if you look at the reviews of that album, a lot of people will say the same. Obviously, you just heard my co-host give it a glowing review as well. Well, first of all, I would be shocked if somebody listening to this has not heard that album. That would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I could see somebody not listening to it is if like they just weren't listening, like they weren't into the neo soul
era,
and that's fair. Yeah, if you weren't really listening to that, I get it. Everybody was into, music or Joe Scott or D'Angelo or Erykah Badu. I get that because some people were just into the regular R&B. They weren't into that neo soul. Because remember, neo soul was like a subculture of R&B.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but anyway, you talked about my number one as your number two.
I knew it,
bro. I mean, what do I really have to say about the number one spot? Like Confessions. I it's even hard to describe. I mean, bro, as far as like our college career, like that's the album I think about when me and you going out. You know what I mean? Us with the girls we talked to, everything. It was like that album. If I have to say, if somebody said, Darian, describe your college career in an album, I'm like, yeah, Confessions. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, just give me Confessions. Because everything on the album probably happened to both of us. From the partying to some of the confessions he kind of
not burn.
Well, not burn. That didn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. I can safely say neither one of us had that experience. But
I'll know one. I know one that is Bad Girls. There's a lot of those.
Yes, a lot of those. A lot of those. Yes, bro. Yeah. So like if somebody said, Darren, describe your college, experience, your career, I'd be like, yeah, Confessions. Just listen to, with the exception of Burn, listen to every song on Confessions.
Well, you can listen to Burn. It just didn't describe us.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that. But I also wasn't getting anybody pregnant and then lying to that. I didn't do that. We didn't do that.
Were you getting caught up?
Yeah, I was getting caught. You actually witnessed one of the times I got caught up. Yeah, I did get caught up. Yes.
Man, Diddy is getting. Oh my bad, D. Can't call you that no more.
Yeah,
he was getting caught up, man.
You actually a witness to that. Yeah, you in our apartment. I definitely got caught up.
Truth hurts. A lot of us have had disappointment.
Yes, we both taken a lot of L's.
Everybody takes L's, man.
Of course, yeah.
But one thing we can both. I think most people will agree with this, man. The pain never lasts forever, bro. You move eventually.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It takes some time.
But that Bad Girls comment, you were right. We dealt with a lot of those. A lot.
We have to do that. We need to do a late night version of this podcast.
Sometimes we do that on like a weekly basis. Like it's kind of like a weekly thing going on. Yeah, like this is like a weekly thing. Like, oh damn, like
yeah. I think every song on that album that can relate to us in some way, except for Burn, like you said. Every song.
Yeah, and the one when he confessed about having a kid. But I definitely, the caught up. Yeah, I definitely got caught up.
Another song I loved on that album was Truth Hurts. That was a banger too, man.
Yeah, like you said, right. Just the whole disappointment and stuff. Yeah, because we all took L's. As much as me and Kwab had a great college career and we got, we did really good with the ladies. We definitely took L's, took L's. But I definitely say I had more W's than L's. You know what I mean? Definitely had more W's. But
you had a good batting average.
I did. I batted around probably better than 300.
Yeah, you had Shohei numbers. You had tiny numbers.
Oh yeah, well at least one year we were just talking about before the pod. You already brought it up. One year I was doing Shohei and Barry Bonds numbers. Yeah,
I mean, listen. Some people do Sosa numbers. They go for everything. They on everything moving. You take a lot of swings, but you gonna get hits. It's like Sammy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we definitely knew cats like that in school that were doing that. We knew cats, sure. They were doing it. Yeah, but I definitely had a year where
college was 2 years, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, yeah, but that's all this, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're gonna put it on our IG page, or other social media platform pages, and definitely want a lot of the ladies to comment and give us your thoughts, give us what you think, and should you can even mention should there other albums you should have considered.
Glaring omissions. What did we miss?
Yeah, what did we miss? Should our albums be in the top 5? Should the honorable mentions? So some of the honorable mentions have been in our in our top 5, and we take out some of the ones that were in our top 5. So yeah, I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on it. It was fun the last time we did it with the 90s, so I'm looking forward to see what people think of our list.
To do a rap 2000s one too. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be hard, man.
Have we done a rap 90s yet? I don't think we've done a rap.
Good question. Ooh.
Yeah, so that may be the next one. So before we get to 2000, we got to do a rap 90s with that.
Harder.
That's gonna be even harder. Yeah, let's do the 90s rap. Yeah. So we'll do that. That will definitely be coming soon in the new year. New year,
Stay tuned.
we're gonna have a '90s rap list, and then get your thoughts on it. I know the fellas gonna have a lot of opinions on that one. You know what I mean?
So, and one thing I like about the '90s rap one is this the age range, right? Like from our age, people in their 50s, people in their 30s, like everybody's gonna be able to.
Your older brother, my older brother, they're gonna even have a lot of say in that because they were young then too.
Absolutely.
So they're gonna have a lot to say. But yeah, this should be fun. I'm looking forward to the feedback and to what people think of our list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Indeed. Before we wrap things up, man, obviously Christmas is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite Christmas gift you got as a kid?
Ooh, that's tough, bro. I mean,
what do you think of first? I guess that's hard because you probably got a lot of great gifts. What comes to mind? Like, wow, this is a really cool.
Maybe probably getting the Sega Genesis.
Oh yeah, 92, 93?
Yeah, probably getting the Sega Genesis because so I never had Super Nintendo. I played it a lot because a lot of my friends had it, but I didn't have Super Nintendo. Before Genesis, I had the regular Nintendo. Then I upgraded it, and then I didn't get another system to the first PlayStation. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. I didn't get another system to Dreamcast. That was my.
Well, so you had a long time off. Yeah, you didn't.
Wait a minute, what came out first, PlayStation or Dreamcast?
The PlayStation. PlayStation came out.
I'm sorry, no, I take that back. So I went from Sega Genesis into the the very first PlayStation.
Okay, got it.
Right, yeah, the very first, because then after that, then I got Dreamcast, and then I had PlayStation 2. That was the last system I ever bought.
That is the last one you owned. Yeah,
you remember that? Yeah, college, yeah. So yeah, PlayStation 2 was the last one I ever bought. Yeah. So yeah, Sega Genesis for sure. Yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah. I would say for me, man, and shout out to Pops. Pops, I mean, both parents, but Pops, since I lived with Pops, he always came through for Christmas, man. So shout out to Pops. But my
R.I.P. to Pops, man, great man.
Yeah, man. But my Nintendo 64, because
I never had it.
Oh,
I played it, of course. I played GoldenEye and all that.
I was so excited because we went to a cousin's house, and they had a Nintendo 64, and I was just like, wow, like. I think my dad like low key saw like how much I like this is. I was playing Mario 64, and he low key saw how much I was enjoying it, and I always my grades were on point, so like it wasn't like he got to get his grades straight first, but yeah, and then I'll never forget he came through, man. I think it was it might have been I'm getting my years on me. That might have been 99 or 98, but bro, I was so excited, man. My grades probably went down after I got that. Shoot, but yeah, that's my favorite, and our Sega Genesis was great too because I believe it was our first Christmas after we came back from Ghana because we lived in Ghana as kids.
Okay,
so like the Christmas of 91 or 92, I'm forgetting the years, but yeah, we had Sonic the Hedgehog. That was a good time. Video games were always a great gift, man. I mean, I still enjoy playing video games. Now, the only difference is now I just buy it on my own. Nobody's
right
systems. So
the copy of that, but I know we're about to get out of here, but just real quick, what was your favorite game on the N64?
Probably Mario 64.
Okay.
And there was another game I loved called Wave Racer, where you're just on.
You weren't a GoldenEye guy.
I just wasn't that great at it.
Oh,
but it was
okay.
fun. There was another game called Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. Do you remember that? Does that sound familiar? It was like a first-person game. Yeah, it was kind of like a first-person game, but you're just hunting dinosaurs. That was my joint right there. So yeah, I would say those ones come to mind for me.
Yeah, so for me, on the Sega Genesis, it was the first NBA Live 95.
Oh, 95. Who was on
95?
Remember who
it was like Robert Horry and I think I don't know, one of the Knicks, but I don't know if it was Starks or Ewing, because it was going off the 94 final. Remember, they always did the picture from the last finals.
Oh, great memory. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, right? Am I right? It was Horry.
Horry's trying to block. It's kind of blurry. Yeah, I think he's trying to block Starks. That's great memory, bro.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite. Yeah, that was my favorite game on PlayStation.
I bet you if we try to play it now, like, what is this?
Dude. I'd be like, what is going right?
When you come this week, you got to see the new 2K. You're going to be like, wait, is there a game on or is this the video game? As you know, man, because I love the fact that you don't play video games anymore, but I love that you still like to play when you come through the crib. That's always cool.
Yeah, definitely. Whether it's you,
you be kind of balling. I'm like, how are you balling? As you know, a lot of it's kind of like once you get through like a quarter or two, you just
like
get
muscle memory.
Yeah, it's just muscle.
Yeah, a lot of it it's like riding a bike for me. Like I could be like, oh, I know that, once you tell me like what's what, then I kind of just know what to do.
Yeah, but we'll definitely. Well, you and Ellie love watching me play Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah. Is there a new one out? Did a new one come out?
No, but they got new characters now. So
okay,
you'll
gotcha.
see some new fatalities.
Yeah, but nah, man, it's funny. Now I'm not thinking about NBA Live. I love that. I love that game. That was.
I'm impressed you remembered the cover.
I remember it was Ori and right, like you said, you're trying to block John Stark because they always did it from the year. Like the next year was the finals from I think it was the Magic and Houston or whatever. Yeah. And I know you love this because we talked about this before, and I know you used to love when Jordan was player 99.
He looked like Denzel a little bit.
He had hair.
He was hooping though.
Oh, he didn't miss.
Oh,
like I played with him one time on like pro. He didn't miss, bro. I swear to you. I played on like the hardest level, and I'm like, dog, he does not miss.
I'm trying to see somebody rocking a player jersey. It just says like player. I'm like, yo, that's that Jordan. That'd be dope. How's nobody thought about that?
I'm telling you, even to play against him was even worse. Like it was frustrating to play against him.
I mean, player might be the GOAT, bro.
Yeah. Player, yeah. Dog,
player might have been better than MJ.
I agree. Dog, he didn't miss. He did not miss. I'm like, dog, you could take what. One time I shot from him was like half court. He made it. I'm like, how did he make that?
Yeah, player was a problem.
Yeah, he was like Steph Curry before we saw Steph Curry.
Yeah, player had no limits.
Zero.
He could shoot. He could do everything.
Yeah, because I think he was the only player on there that had he had like 100 rating, right? He's only ever.
Like, he was a problem, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
I'm about to start ranking him number 1.
A player.
Better than LeBron, Kobe, and all.
Yep. Yeah, player. But yeah, man, that's gonna wrap it up for another Brothers Got Next. This is the last one for the year for us. Obviously we'll be back in a couple weeks. Start of the new year. But I definitely want to wish everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, be safe out there. Hope you guys spend a lot of time with family, get all the gifts and everything you want, and then lastly, actually have a Happy New Year. I hope you come into the new year with just positive thoughts and new beginnings, kind of recharging the brain, refreshing. Yeah, man, that's gonna do it for us, and we'll have another year of a Brothers Guys yet next year. Got tied there.
Yeah, no, just obviously appreciate all y'all's support, and yeah, man, just try to keep the show growing, and I think ultimately, man, we just do it because we love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Growth is important, especially as individuals,
right?
But I just think we're just doing what we love, man. So
definitely. I mean, I look forward to this on a weekly basis.
Yeah, but happy holidays to all y'alls.
Peace.